Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathsala. My name is Amrendra Kumar Ajit, Assistant Professor of Law, National Law University, Odisha. I am going to discuss today a module under criminology, name is an assessment of the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act. The prerequisite for this module is the general understanding of rights of children and its violation by using child as labor in various forms is required for a proper understanding of this module. Objectives of this module is first, to understand the problem of child labor in urban and rural India. Second, to know the measures initiated by central and state government. Third, to analyze the application of legal provisions at ground level. Fourth, to comprehend the implementation of child labor prohibition rules and regulation and its effect as well as required changes. Fifth, to evaluate the recent amendments in laws relating to child labor, especially 2016 amendments. Keywords for this module will be child, child rights, labor, child labor, hazardous industry, family enterprises. Future of a nation depends on the development and protection of children. What we invest in a child as a parents, society or nation, we get return in future accordingly. Children who are brought up in an environment which is conducive to their intellectual, physical and social health grow up to a responsible and productive member of society. Exposure to labor at young stage or age reduce their present welfare and their future income earning capabilities, either by shrinking their future external choice set or by reducing their own future individual productive capabilities. No child wants to leave the beauty of childhood and go with harsh reality to feed himself or his family by doing same job. The same is with parents too. Child labor is rampant according to 2001 census. India is that year had an estimate of 12.59 million of workers in the 5 to 14 age group. From working in garage, welding units, matches and incense stick making units or industries, hotels and eating houses, restaurant and homes to laboring industries like ready-made garments, jari, sari weaving, construction sites for child workers are everywhere. They work long hours in abysmal conditions that not only blight their childhood but also condemn to an adulthood of poverty and disease. In 2011 census, the data suggests the decrease in total number of child labor and reduced up to 8.2 million. Parents decide to engage their children in a job under distress to meet the economic needs of the family members. In India, child labor has been seen as economic phenomena. The prevailing abyssal situation with child labor stemming from the ineffectiveness of the various policies and measures adopted by the government is indicative of the fact that this basic approach does not deal with the root of the problem. Another disconcerting aspect of child labor is that children are sent to work at expense of education. Child labor restricts the right of children to access and benefit from education and denies the fundamental opportunity to attend school. The damage done to children that are pushed into labor force very early in their life makes them unemployable later. It affects the future life of the children in several ways, including social, political and economic. Our constitution makers were really worried with their problem, especially those who were working in factories, mines and hazardous industry. So they put a separate provision under fundamental rights chapter as article 24. It says that no child below the age of 14 shall be employed in any factory or mine or engaged in any other hazardous industry. In People Union for Democratic Right versus Union of India, the Supreme Court clearly stated that Article 24 must operate vigore, even if the provision laid down in it is not followed by appropriate legislation. Accordingly, the court held that though construction work not included among the hazardous industry in the Employment of Children Act 1938, construction work is plainly a hazardous employment prohibited by Article 24. In addition to this, Child Labor Provision and Regulation Act 1986, which especially provides the employment of children in certain industries and leaves the scope for such provision in others. The legislature have, however, enacted many legislation like Indian Factories Act 1948, the Mines Act 1952, Merchant Shipping Act 1958, Motor Transport Act 1951, the Plantation Labor Act, the Beedi and Cigar Act, then many state acts, particularly those regulating the condition of worker in shops and establishment before and after the commencement of constituting prohibiting child labor. What are the factors responsible for child labor? Basically, there are several factors or reasons regarding the cause and abuse of child labor in India. Indian socio-economic condition is such that it provides bedrock for the development of child labor in many forms. Some of important factors are like, first I will consider economic factor. Poverty is the root cause of child labor in India, which has due to various reasons like unequal distribution of land property or assets. Economic compulsion create pressure on poor parents to put their children for physical exploitation in early age of life. Second cause is poor implementation of law. Lethargic attitude of implementation agency are also the main cause and main evil for this. Whether it is agricultural or industrial environment, the child exploitation is frequent. National Commission of Labor also pointed out that quite often it is a feeling of sympathy rather than the desire. 80-20 which weight within the players in the implying child work. Third important criteria is caste-oriented society. Caste system is deeply rooted in India, and the most of the ancestral work is carried out by one group. There is certain business which is carried out by a particular group or family. In our society, certain goods trades are related to particular community, and children starts learning about the trade from these parts only. Next is lacks of awareness. Lacks of awareness of the parents and guardian are also one of the important cause of child labor in India. The importance of education in long term is not known to parents, so they concentrate on short term benefit through putting their child in labor force. In addition to above, there are other several causes like population, lack of social security in family, social acceptance of learning parental business, and lacuna in child labor relating law. The general concept of child at international level is that a child means every human being below the age of 18 years, unless under the law applicable to the child, majority is attained earlier. This convention protects various kinds of rights, including human rights of the children. But at national level, different attitudes over legal text have followed different age group for the defining kinds of children. This variation is mainly based on the subject matter jurisdiction of relevant statutes. First is and basic important document is the Constitution of India. It recognizes child up to the age of 14 years in Article 21A, 24 and 51K. Child Labor Prohibition Act 1986 recognized 14 years, whereas the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act 2000 keep the age limit 18 years. The general analysis suggests that 14 years age is limit for free education and provision of any form of labor, and 18 years is for complete criminal liability. Not all work done by children should be classified as child labor. That is to be targeted for elimination. Children's or adolescents participation in work that does not affect their health and personal development or interfere with their schooling is generally regarded as being something positive. This includes activities such as helping their parents around the home, assisting in a family business, or earning pocket money outside school hours and during school holidays. These kinds of activities contribute to children's development and the welfare of their families. They provide them with skills and experience and help to prepare them to be productive member of society during their adult life. According to International Labor Organization, the term child labor is often defined as work that deprive children of their childhood, their potential and their dignity, and that is harmful to physical and mental development. It refers to work that is mentally, physically, socially, or morally dangerous and harmful to children and interferes with their schooling by depriving them of the opportunity to attend their school, obliging them to leave school permanently, or requiring them to attempt to combine school attendance with excessively long and heavy work. In its most extreme forms, child labor involves children being enslaved, separated from their families, exposed to serious hazards and illness, and are left to fend for themselves on the street of large cities, often at a very early stage. Whether or not particular form of work can be called child labor depend upon the child's age, the type and the hour of work performed, and the condition under which it is performed, an objective pursued by individual countries. The answer varies from country to country as well as among sector within countries itself. Child labor laws, provision laws in India. The child has been the subject of special laws and legal provisions because of its tender years, weak physics, and inadequacy developed mind and understanding. Every child needs protection against moral and physical harm and exploitation by others. There are 300 central and state statutes concerning children. These have been enacted with an intention to protect and help children and achieve the goal of child labor welfare enshrined in our national charter. Here we discuss important laws relating to child labor and a special analysis of Child Labor Provision and Regulation Act 1986 and the main amendment of 2016. First of all, we will start with constitutional provisions. The maker of constitution were visionary to provide that children should receive distributive justice in free India. The right against exploitation were mentioned in the draft proposed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, K.M. Munshi and K.T. Shah, while Dr. Ambedkar's draft simply provided that subjecting a person to forced labor or involuntary servitude would be an offense. K.M. Munshi draft article suggested for the abolition of all forms of slavery, child labor, traffic in human beings, and compulsory labor. Constitution of India contains provisions in Part 3 and Part 4 of several articles protected rights of the children in various ways. These constitutional provisions have played fundamental role in the development of law relating to child. Legislation and policies regarding child labor in India. Legislation to control and regulate child labor in India has existed for several decades. The main concern of these legislations were prescribing minimum age limit for employment of children and regulation of working hours for children, and ensuring the health and safety of child laborers by prohibiting the employment of children in hazardous work. There are a number of child labor legislation prohibiting the employment of children below the age of 14 years and 15 years in certain specified employments like factories, mines, shipping, transport, etc. However, contrary to our international commitment and all proclamation in our country constitution, and despite all the legislative measures, child labor is a harsh reality in 21st century. Due to lack of political will and in the absence of realistic measures to tackle the problem, the percentage of child labor in the total labor force of the country kept on increasing over the years. Large number of legislations were enacted since 1881 which provides the legal protection to the working children. The Children Placing of Labor Act 1933 followed by the Employment of Children Act 1938 was the first statutory enactment dealing with child labor which was repealed by Child Labor Act 1986. The Child Labor Provision and Regulation Act 1986 is an outcome of various recommendations made by a series of commissions. This legislation was enacted to reform the legal measures as the policy of both prohibition of child labor in hazardous industry and regulation in other kinds of industries. The main legislation for the prohibition of child labor is the Child Labor Provision and Regulation Act 1986, which will be analyzed in detail in the role of judiciary will also be discussed in the light of SEED Act. The Child Labor and Provision and Regulation Act 1986. Various legislations were enacted since 1981 for progressively extending legal protection to the working children. The statement and object and reasons in the Act says that there are various legislation which completely prohibit employment of children below age 14 years and 15 years in certain specified employments. However, there is no special procedure laid down in any law for deciding in which employments, occupations or processes the employment of children should be banned. There is also no law to regulate the working condition of children in most of the employments where they are not prohibited from working and are working under exploitative conditions. The Act objectives are to ban the employment of children, that is, those who have not completed the 14th year in a specified occupations and processes. Second, lay down a procedure to decide modifications to the schedule of banned occupations or processes. Third, to regulate the condition of work of children engaged in forms of employment in which they are permitted to work. Fourth, prescribed enhanced penalties for employment of children in violation of the provision of this Act and other acts that forbid the employment of children, and to establish uniformity in the definition of child in laws concerning them. The introduction of the bill generated a lively debate in the Indian Parliament in which members cutting across party affiliation debated and provided rare insight into these age-old social issues. In course of the debate, the member in particular took exception to the following. First, the proviso in section 3 says, provided that nothing in this section shall apply to any workshop wherein any process is carried out on by the occupier with the aid of his family or any school established or receiving assistance or recognition from government. The member had also expressed apprehension and reservation regarding the followings. First, past experience shows that labor laws are never implemented. The Child Labor Provision and Regulation Act had also become yet another exercise in futility. Second, hazardous work does not become safe merely because it is performed at home. Third, any scheme of exemption provided in a law is bound to be misinterpreted and misused. Fourth, the intention of the government should not be regularize child labor merely because it exists. And fifth, one-sided and half-hearted approach of banning child labor in few establishments and regulating it in few others without adopting a holistic and integrated approach, without solving the problem of poverty and economic deprivation, without enforcing the Minimum Wages Act, without resolving the problem of universal enrollment and retention of all children of a school going age in the formal school system will serve little purpose. The apprehension and reservation expressed by the members were genuine and continue to be valid to this day also. The main features of the present act are as follows. The first, it prohibits employment of children in most employments as detailed in the schedule as processes and occupation. Most of them are hazardous in nature, but the term hazardous has not been defined. It intends to regulate employment of children in all establishments except those prohibited one. It provides for a child labor technical advisory committee to advise the central government in matters of further prohibition, regulation, regulatory provisions made fixing the number of hours, period of work, provision of overtime, double employment, provision of weekly holidays, etc. Requirement of the employer to give notice to inspector, maintenance of register, display of notice, provision for health and safety are also in part 3. It provides for minimum penalty of imprisonment of 3 months and maximum 1 year and minimum fine of rupees 10,000 and maximum fine of rupees 20,000. Almost all the violations of the regulatory and mandatory provisions are declared as offence under the Act. And any person can file complaint, but only a metropolitan magistrate can take cognizance of any offence which is committed under this Act. Significant provision of the Child Labour Provision and Regulation Act 1986. The Act bears 4 parts and 26 sections, with one schedule consisting of Part A for occupation and B for processes. The preamble to the Act states that it is an act to prohibit the employment of children in certain employments and to regulate the conditions of work of children in certain other employments. The Act prohibits the employment of any person who has not completed the age of year 14 in occupation and processes set forth in Part A and Part B of the schedule of the Act. The provision under Part 2, Section 3 is not absolute, as it does not apply to any workshop wherein any process is carried out on by the occupier with the aid of his family, or to any school establishment by or receiving assistance or recognition from the government. Section 5 of this Act provides for the constitution of a Child Labour Technical Advisory Committee to advise the central government for the purpose of addition to the schedule of the Act. The Act thus classified all establishments in 2 categories. First, the act in which employment of child labor is prohibited, and second, those in which working condition of child labor shall be regulated. The intention of the Parliament is not at all to prohibit the child labor altogether. Rather, they are permitted to work in a regulatory manner. Had it been the intention of the Parliament to abolish the system of child labor, then the nomenclature of the legislation would be the Child Labor Abolition Act in the form of Bonded Labor Abolition Act. According to the Act, child means a person who has not completed his 14 years of age, and the establishment for the purpose of this Act include a shop, commercial establishment, workshop, farm, residential hotel, restaurant, eating house, theater, or other places of public amusement or entertainment. The expression occupier in relation to the establishment or a workshop means the person who has the ultimate control over the affair of the establishment or workshop, and workshop means any premises including the precincts thereof wherein any industrial process is carried on, but does not include any premises to which the provision of section 67 of the Factories Act 1948 for the time being apply. The word workshop is controversial and problematic because if the prohibited work is done in an informal place other than workshop, it will not attract legal prohibition. Thus, the Child Labor Provision and Regulation Act corresponds the Employment of Children Act 1938, and this is one of the major lacuna in the present enactment. Part 3 of the Act regulates the condition of the work of children in establishments in which none of the occupations or processes referred to in Section 3 is carried on. It provides that no child shall be required to permitted to work between 7 p.m. to 8 a.m. and to work overtime. The period of work shall not exceed 3 hours, or no child shall work for more than 3 hours before he had an interval for rest for at least 1 hour. The total working hour includes interval for the rest, and the time spent in waiting for work shall not be spread over more than 6 hours per day. It is also provided that no child shall be required or permitted to work in any establishment or any day on which he has already been working in another establishment. The Act prescribes that every occupier in the relation to an establishment in which a child was employed or permitted to work is required to give a written notice to the inspector containing certain particulars within those locals limit. The establishment is situated within a period of 30 days from the date of commencement of the establishment. Section 10 of the Act says that in the event of any dispute regarding the age of child between the inspector and occupier, the question should be decided by or on the basis of certificate of age provided by the prescribed medical authority to whom such an issue has been referred for decision. The Act under Section 12 requires that every occupier who employs children shall maintain a register to be available for inspection by an inspector at all times during working hours or work is being carried on in any such establishment, showing first the name and date of birth of every child so employed or permitted to work, hours and period of work of any such child, and the interval of rest to which he is entitled, the nature of work of any such child, and such other particulars as may be prescribed. The Act further prescribes that every railway administration, every port authority, and every occupier shall display a notice containing abstracts of the Section 3 and 14 in the local language and in English language in a conspicuous place. The Act also empowers the appropriate government to make rules for the health and safety of the children employed or permitted to work in any establishment or class of establishments. Part 4 of the Act deals with the procedure for prosecution of offences and penalties under the Act. It provides a procedure relating to the offence. A positive feature of the Act under Section 16 is that any person, police officer or inspector may file complaint of a commission of an officer under this Act in any court of the competent jurisdiction. Every certificate as to the age of a child which has been granted by the prescribed medical authority shall, for the purpose of this Act, be conclusive proof for evidence as to the age of child to whom it relates, and no court inferior to the metropolitan magistrate or a magistrate of first class shall try any offence under this act. Penalties under the Child Labour Act. The penalties under the Child Labour Act are relatively more stringent than earlier acts, and violating the provisions relating to child labor in certain other acts result in penalty under this act. Section 14 discusses penalties under this act as follows. Whoever employs any child or permits any child to work in hazardous employment shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 3 months but may extend to 1 year, or with fine which shall not be less than 10,000 rupees but which may extend to 20,000 rupees, or with both. For a repeated offence, the punishment is imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 6 months but which may extend to 2 years, and for failing to give notice to the inspector as required by section 9, or failing to maintain a register as required by section 11, or making any false entry in the register, or failing to display an abstract of section 3, or of failing to comply with any other provision of this act or rules, the punishment is imprisonment which may extend to 1 month, or with fine which may extend to 10,000 rupees, or with both. It is to be noted that the act provides for the both fine as well as imprisonment, but in practice, in those few instances where the employer is prosecuted, he is generally fined. Critical analysis of Child Labour Provision and Regulation Act 1986. Any law is not without shortcoming, and the same is with this act too. The Child Labour Act was passed with an object of achieving two contradicting goals, that is provision and regulation of child labour, which is not in conformity with the Article 24 of the Constitution of India, and the act is in favor of regulation rather than abolition of child labour. Another major drawback is the absence of any measures for rehabilitation of child. The proviso annexed to section 3 is abused by employing children in respect of families and work experience acquired by children. This proviso helps employers to pose as family members of the children working in their premises and thus continue to exploit the children. This is how the employer escapes from prosecution. Hence, burden of proof is to be fixed on the occupier to prove that the child is a member of his or her family. In addition to this, the age of child has been differently defined in different laws. There is no a certain criteria or scientific parameters for defining the age of child. Thus, laws leads to confusion and uncertainty. The definition of children given under Child Labour Provision and Regulation Act 1986 is in contradiction with United Nations Convention on the Rights of Child 1989 and Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Amendment Act 2006. Because in case of international convention, maximum age for child is 18 years, whereas in case of Child Provision Act it is 14 years. Article 24 of the Constitution indirectly permits the child labor because Article 24 reads, no child below the age of 14 years shall be employed to work in factory or mine or engaged in any other hazardous employment. By reading above Article 24, it is observed that Constitution of India does not create an absolute bar to the employment of children below the age of 14 years. Their employment is prohibited only in factory or mines or in any other hazardous employment. Child below the age of 14 years shall be employed to work in all establishment other than factory or mines or hazardous industry. So, various laws and policies relating to child labor and child rights appear to work in isolation. there is no nexus between each other. The right to education did not have direct bearing on the child labor law. Policy perspective relating to child labor and children and childhood are confused. The right of children to free and compulsory education under 2009 Act intended to provide free and compulsory education all the children of the age of 6 to 14, but under child provision and regulation act laying down that children below the 14 years can work in non-hazardous occupation, and process is a whole process is a kind of mockery in providing justice to children. The chairperson of National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights said the child labor policy itself is flawed and existing child labor law was violating the fundamental rights to education. Thus, there is a need to amend the act to make it in a consonance with the right to education. The definition of child labor needs to include children working in the farm's land. The laws and policies now have to conform to the international standard laid down in UN Convention on the Rights of Child. There are two major amendments in the Act in year 2006 and 2016 respectively. So first of all, we are going to analyze 2006 amendment. Child Labor Provision and Regulation Act 1986 amended in 2006 does not ban child labor per se and leaves the millions of children child laborer in the domestic and unorganized sector outside the purview. On 1st August 2006, the government imposed a ban on employment of children as domestic servant or servant in dhabas, roadside eateries, restaurant, hotels, motels, tea shops, resort, spa or in other recreational center. The ban has been imposed under the Child Labor Provision and Regulation Act 1986 on the recommendation of Technical Advisory Committee on Child Labor. The Ministry of Labor has recently issued a notification to this effect, giving 3 months mandatory notice. Employing children in these categories would make the offender liable to prosecution and may result in imprisonment up to 2 years, or fine shall not be less than 10,000 rupees but may extend up to 20,000 rupees. The Technical Advisory Committee, while recommending a ban on employing children in these occupations, had said that although these occupations are not capable of being classified as per the hazardous, there is a high risk that children may be subjected to physical violence, psychological trauma, and at times even sexual abuse. Such incidents being committed in the close confine of the households or dhabas or restaurants often go unnoticed and unreported, being kept out of the regulation mechanism inbuilt in the original 1986 Act. Children employed in these sectors are made to work for long hours and are made to undertake various hazardous activities, severely affecting their health and psychology. The committee has said that children employed in roadside eateries and highway dhabas were the most vulnerable lot and were easy prey to sex and drugs abuse as they come in contact with all kinds of unscrupulous people. These recent measures initiated by the central government takes care of a major criticism against the 1986 Act and is expected to go a long way in ameliorating the conditions of helpless working children. The new Amendment Act 2016 has changed the title of existing law itself, the Child Labor and Adolescent Labor Provision and Regulation Act 1986, and created a new group as adolescents. This includes a person has completed his 14-year age but has not completed his 18-year. It amended the child definition as child means a person who has not completed his age 14 years of age or age as may be specified in the Right of the Children to Free and Compulsory Education 2009, whichever is more. This new amendment had tried to mitigate certain drawbacks in existing law, like putting all kinds of child labor as illegal except family work, not affecting the education of child. Another major amendment is that it covers the adolescents labor, that is labor done by person between the age of 14 and 18. Another significant change is in punishment section, where now minimum punishment is 6 months to 2 years and fine 20,000 to 50,000. The new act suffers from many problems. The first is it has slashed the list of hazardous occupation from children from 83 to include just mining, explosive and occupation mentioned in the Factories Act. This means that works in chemical mixture units, cotton farm, battery recycling units, bricks clean, amongst other have been dropped. Further, even the ones listed as a hazardous can be removed according to section 4, not by the parliament but by the government authorities as their own discretion. Section 3 in clause 5 allows child labor in family or family enterprises, or allows the child to be an artist in audiovisual entertainment industry. Since most of India's child labor is caste-based work with poor families trapped in intergenerational debt bondage, this refers to most of the country child laborer. The cause is also dangerous as it does not define the hours of work. It simply states that children may work after school hours or during vacations. Think of the plight of a 12-year-old coming home from school and then helping her mother sew an umpteen collar's shirt to meet the production deadline of the contractor. When will she do her homework? How will she have the stamina to get up next morning for school? Now only to the new amendments reverse the gain of 1986 Act, but actually contradict the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2000 that makes the punishable for anyone to procure or employ a child in a hazardous occupation. They also contravene the International Labour Organization Minimum Age Convention and UNICEF Convention on the Rights of Child, to which India is signatory. According to the UNICEF, a child is involved in the child labor if he or she is between 5 to 11 years, does at least 1 hour or economic activity or at least 28 hours of a domestic work in a week, and in case of children aged between 12 to 14 and 14 hours of economic activity or at least 42 hours of economic activity and domestic work per week is considered as child labor. The devastating health consequence of the new act may be the worst below on India's poor yet. There are 33 million child laborers in India. According to UNICEF, as per the 2011 census, 80% of them are Dalits, 20% are from backward classes. This law will restrict these children to traditional caste-based occupations for generations. If the amendments intended to preserve Indian art and craft by enabling parents with traditional skill to pass them on their children, this should be done through reform and investment in education. Slashed budget should be restored, midday meal should be reinstituted, and securing housing should be provided through the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan boarding school to homeless children. Artisans should be hired as teachers to pass on traditional knowledge and skill to the next generation. Child labor is a social evil and governed, controlled and managed by several factors including legal. The concept of child labor is legally allowed in India, and law is only to prohibit in its certain kinds of industry and regulate in the condition. The mandate of the Indian Constitution is to provide good opportunity to children with restricting the involvement in hazardous industry. There are several legislation relating to child labor and covering various aspects of child labor, which sometimes make more difficult to curb the practice. Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986 is one of the important piece of legislation which makes certain kinds of child labor illegal. The act has several lacunas which has been tried to be removed in 2006 and 2016 amendment. One important development in 2016 amendment is now adolescents labor is also governed. The definition of families still provides a scope for the exploitation of this law. Implementation of this law is very poor in all states, which provides liberty to the exploiters. No rehabilitation plan in the statutory provisions makes situation worse. So it is all about provision of child labor unit. Thanks.